It's Thursday, July 2nd. I'm Aaron Whited, and welcome to The Lodge. So today, I have a friend of mine who we've spent a lot of time talking on the phone about different things, and more or less, we got to a point where we're like, you know what? I think other people would really enjoy hearing what we're talking about. Why don't we get on the podcast and do it on the podcast? So this right here is Mr. Wayne Clark. Wayne, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, man, happy to join.
So you did something this spring that I did myself, and I think we had very similar opinions on it. You took an Alaskan cruise. When was yours? May?
Yeah, middle May.
Middle of May? And then I took mine that first week of June. I think that we should tell people on here kind of our experience as outdoorsmen and being on a ship for 7 days. I think I think we should tell people a little bit about how the experience was and what we thought. What do you think?
Let's talk.
All right, man. Well, go for it. Tell me about your Alaskan adventure.
Man, it was a good time. Like we talked about on the phone, I'm not sure I'm a cruise guy. If I were to do a cruise again, it would be another Alaska cruise, but I'd want to go on up further towards Kodiak. But it was cool, man. We flew in late Friday night. Cruise didn't take off till Sunday afternoon, so we spent the day in Seattle. We went to this really cool I don't know if they call it like a wildlife preserve or not, but it's right outside of Seattle. It's called Trek, Trek, I believe is how you spell it. But you go in there, the first portion's like a zoo. Honestly, this is probably my favorite part of the entire trip. Um, it's kind of like a zoo when you first walk in. They've got grizzly bears, they've got black bears, they've got wolves, mountain lion, lynx, just all kind of cool critters. They did this black bear feeding thing where they put the 2 bears away. They set up campsites the way you're not supposed to do it while you're camping, and then they let the bears out to show people like, "Hey, this is why you don't do it." The bears were, like, rummaging through the coolers, getting into the tents. It was fun to watch.
How quick were they able to dismantle that whole thing?
Dude, it was like they were on it right away, and they're so bears are curious, so they were just rummaging around, the big bear, like, opened up the cooler, started getting in there, and they had food and stuff in there for them to eat, so it was like, risk reward, just kinda showing what you're not supposed to do and why you're not supposed to do it when you're camping in bear country. um so that was pretty cool. Then we did like this little electric trolley ride around. They've got like a 400-acre complex, and there was bison, mountain goats, a bunch of elk, moose, blacktail. What else did we see? There was just a ton of animals like that in there. It was really neat to see that. Went up to Mount Rainier, got snowed on like crazy. I mean, just absolute whiteout up there.
And
Uh,
this was in May.
Middle of May. Yep.
That's nuts, dude.
Yep, it was not the only time I've been snowed on in, like, hot weather months for our area is, you know, in the Pacific Northwest or Alaska. Like, I've gotten snowed on in Alaska in August, then, May out there, but it was neat. Then, of course, spend a couple of days at sea before we hit our first, location. We hit Juneau first, got to go canoe to the Mendenhall Glacier, saw a ton of mountain goats while we were there. Um, what else? I'm trying to think. Saw some humpback whales while we were on the ship. Um, Went to Skagway next. There wasn't really much exciting about that. That was kind of just one of those little tours thing. We weren't there long.
I
Um,
will I will say Skagway is the lead up to Skagway is super duper beautiful. Like
yes,
it's insanely
absolutely.
beautiful. But then once you get there to Skagway, you're like, And I feel like this is a place a lot of people have forgotten exists.
Dude, it was so windy. Like, and it was cold there and the wind was crazy. They were doing helicopter like tours and I'm like, how are these choppers getting out of this basin right here? Because it was so windy. But we did like a bus tour thing there, nothing fancy. Um, then we rolled into Ketchikan. What the cruise lines don't tell you is that salmon fishing is not great in May. So when we signed up for one, we went out and we got lucky, like, it was just me, my wife, and the guide, so it was really cool, just us 3. We spent 4 or 5 hours on the boat. We caught 2 king salmon, and he was like, "I knew this would be like this," and he warned us before we even stepped foot on the boat. He was like, "Look, it's gonna be slow." But he took us to a spot where he knows some good rock fishing is, so we got to do some rock fishing.
That's cool.
Um, and then yeah, I mean, that was probably the excitement of it. I saw a bunch of mountain goats while we were on the ship, just, cruising around through the areas. We did go to Glacier Bay National Park, saw a bunch of sea otters, more mountain
Those
goats
things
on
are
the
cool.
way. Yeah, they are fun to watch. They're like goofy as crap. But yeah, other than that, I mean, that's the gist of it. We swung back into Victoria. That was a neat city. If you're like a tourist kind of person, that was kind of a neat little spot. But that's the extent of it. Yeah, it was cool, but I want to see more of the remote areas. I want to go see like Kodiak and all of that stuff.
That you're kinda nailing it exactly kinda my thought process. Me and my wife both, we learned we are not cruise people. I am as tall and as wide as the, uh, hallways to the staterooms and
Yep.
different stuff like that, so that sucked a little bit. Um, and then on top of that, we went, just just basically the days that you're out there just at sea. And we went on Princess, so, like, older crowd, not very many kids, so that was fantastic.
Norwegian was similar.
Nice. And it's it's fine, relaxing, whatever, but I'm serious, for the first couple days, I had to, like, not be in the room. I was like, "I just don't like it. I don't like the feeling of it. I'm sitting out here on the balcony we had, or I'm, like, sitting up on deck."
Yep. I'm with you, dude. It was so rocky the first 2 days, and I talked to a couple of people, and they're like, "Nah, that was some rough seas." So, like, I didn't get seasick, but I was on the way there. Like, I could feel myself being on
You're
the way
like,
there.
I'm headed to
Yeah. So,
to the Buick dealership.
yeah.
Buick.
Mhm. Nah, man, that was the first 2 days were terrible. If you would've asked me based on just the first 2 days, I'd be like, "Absolutely not. I'll never do another."
Well, for me, the seasick wasn't even the thing. It was just I couldn't feel comfortable. Like, number 1, I mean, people that know me, I have trouble relinquishing control of things. Um, so, like, airplane, doesn't bother me at all. No worries, no nothing. But, like, the cruise ship deal, you just have no control over anything, and people are, like, everywhere all the time. And it's just like, I wanna be away from people. Even when you're in your room, you're, like, 4 feet away from another human. It's like, "This
Yeah.
is weird." But I loved Alaska. Alaska, dead serious, is probably the most beautiful place I've ever been in my life. I've been a bunch of places, and Alaska was beautiful.
Yes.
Our first stop on our trip, we spent we left from Seattle. Seattle was cool. Man, I wish I'd have done the stuff that y'all did there in Seattle.
I got
Um,
lucky. We just happened to find it. Like, we just run across it. That was, like, pure dumb luck.
Gotcha. Well, it the days that we were there in Seattle, we thought or it was kinda hazy, overcast, Pacific Northwest, so it
Yep.
is what it is, and I looked over because like, the hotel we stayed at was, what was it called? The Bridgewater or something like that, but it was right there on the water, like, super pretty hotel, and was looking out from the hotel and saw a mountain range off in the distance back there and was like, "Huh, that's cool. I was like, I don't really like Rainier should be there, and if Rainier's that big, I guess we can see it. And I was looking and just kind of like, that just looks like a normal mountain range. I guess it's not that crazy, and didn't really think any more of it. Right. So when I looked off to kind of like that way from the hotel, I could see like Olympus National Park and could see those mountains, and they were snow capped. I was like, now that's cool looking. I was like, that's cooler looking than Rainier. Um, we get on the cruise ship and leave out. And now, granted, let me rephrase really quick. In Seattle, we just did some touristy crap. Went around a few different places. Went to the market. The market's cool, but that place is like nightmare fuel for me.
Dude,
There
it's
are
packed.
so many people.
Yup.
So many people.
We did it Sunday before the cruise, and it was shoulder to shoulder with people in there.
It. I don't like that.
I
Like
don't either.
I try to monitor and kinda like, it's instinctual, I don't know why it's there, but it is. I try to monitor and keep up with what everybody's doing, and there is impossible, and my brain just like, "Dude, you need to get out of this." But, same kinda deal, you put me out in the middle of the woods all by myself, and I'm like, "Cool, I got this." Um, but when we got on the ship and left port and was going, just kinda cruising down the bay, I put this picture on Instagram. But looking back at Seattle, I was looking and Corinne, my wife, goes, "I don't think what we were looking at's Rainier. I think that's Rainier." And I was like, "What?" And there was this big white just peering thing throughout the clouds, and the clouds kinda moved, and I'm like, "Oh my god."
Dude, it's huge.
It is so crazy. Like, that thing, it doesn't look real. Like, it is insane. It's like 14, 15,000 feet,
Dude, it's way
and
up there.
it is nuts.
Yep.
And, apparently it's a super volcano. My father-in-law was like, "Yeah, it's a super volcano. If it blows up, then we're all dead," and it's it's
Yep.
one of those, like, no risk of it really blowing up in our lifetime, but possibility. So we went from there. I'm gonna turn this thing off. We went from there to, to Ketchikan, and in Ketchikan, I found a guy online. Actually, ChatGPT recommended him. He owns Stout Sport Fishing, and he's like a 28-year-old guy, started his own business. His dad, guided and stuff his whole life, and he was like, "I just wanted to do it." So he got out, started doing it, and, we went out with him, and I told him, like, when I called him before we got there, I was like, "I am not a, like, frou-frou, let's do a fishing experience." Like,
Yeah.
I don't want that. I don't want an experience. I wanna go fishing for friggin' salmon. So we went out, and dude, that was, to me, was one of the coolest parts because you don't, from anything else, you wouldn't get to see stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then just kinda watching the topography and stuff, my mother-in-law, God bless her, she asked him, she goes, "So what body of water are we on?" And the guy goes, "The Pacific Ocean?" And but, like, when you really think about it, though, we're out on basically a, you know, fishing boat. This thing, I guess you'd call it a deck boat. I'm not sure what you would call that. It had the cabin and then had that whole big, like, open area, the salon area.
Yeah.
And, we're out there fishing, and this friggin' eagle, like, I could have almost touched an eagle. Like, it swooped down and went up, just kinda seeing what we were doing. I could have almost touched an eagle, so that was pretty cool.
Yep.
Caught some salmon. They are weird looking fish, man.
Yeah, they are.
Like, they remind me a little bit of, like, a redfish, but when you pull it out of the water, its teeth are black.
Yeah.
Like, its teeth are black, black, and man, oh, that thing could take your finger off quick.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. It ain't like no largemouth.
No, no, no. Um, but that part was super cool. Caught some salmon, got to see some stuff out there, some eagles, and then, headed back, got back on the boat, and then I was like, "Oh." After that, we went to Juneau. Juneau was pretty cool.
Yep. Juno was neat.
Um, oh, real quick on the salmon fishing thing, I've never been on water to where we went over a hump and, like, the land is here is sea level,
And it's
Now,
like
number
300
one,
foot deep?
hold on. This blew my mind. So right here, sea level. Here's the peak going up 3,500 feet, which it's not often you get to see zero elevation, 3,000 and something elevation. So that was pretty crazy. We go over this ridge, and it's like 100 feet, 150 feet, da 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 da, and then all of a sudden it goes 1,026 feet deep,
Holy
like
smokes.
from here to here. I took a video of it and put it on Instagram, but, like, we were on this side of a rock face, and it was 100 and something, this side was 1,000 and something,
That's
and
nuts.
I was like, that is crazy." Like,
Yeah.
you'd drop something in that, no other human for the rest of history would see it.
No. No, I thought it was crazy just going right off the bank and you're 300 feet deep.
Yeah, like,
1,000?
this
That's
far off
crazy.
the bank,
Yeah.
like that, but, I mean, glaciers formed all that,
Yeah.
so it's like, I guess they just kept on cutting and kept on going.
Yeah.
Juneau was really cool. We did the crab leg, which that was awesome. Like, those big old king crab legs, like, that was fantastic. Um, we just kinda piddled around in Juneau, and then after Juneau, went to Skagway and got to see some mountain goats in Skagway. That was cool. I watch a ton of hunting videos and YouTube videos and stuff like that, and seeing them do their thing in person, like, those things don't know steep. Like, y I'll look at something and be like, "Man, that's steep. I don't know if I can walk up that." And those things are like, "Hold my beer."
Yeah. Or walking across it?
That's the
Ooh.
crazy part, man. Like, them going, like, on a hill like this, them going this way.
Yes.
Like, imagine a human trying to do that. We would roll to the bottom.
Dude, I watched several of them walk across avalanche chutes where those chutes are, I mean, they are like this and they're just right across.
Didn't even care.
Mm-mm. Nah, just walk right on across.
They're built weird. Like,
Yeah.
they when you see them in person, they're built weird. Like, I was standing there thinking down I was on the bottom of the hill in Skagway, and they're up on the mountain, and I was sitting there thinking, "If I were to take a shot at this thing," like, it's kinda hard to tell exactly, like, of course, you hunted anything, you know where vitals are and whatever,
Yep.
but you're standing there looking at it, and the way their body is, you can't exactly tell if they're quartered away, quartered to, like, they're just kind of a poof ball, just a weird body shape. But we ate in Skagway at this place. I cannot It's like something fish house. I can't remember the name of it. And they had a crab cake, or excuse me, not a crab cake. They had a king crab roll. So I love like a Maine lobster roll. My favorite's a Connecticut lobster roll. And they had on an Amorosa roll. My in-laws are from Philly, so an Amorosa roll is like what an authentic Philly cheesesteak is on.
Okay.
And, weird as it may sound, the bread makes the cheesesteak. Like, you could have a Jersey Mike's cheesesteak, and you're like, "Oh, cool." Have one on an Amorosa roll, and you're like, "This is different." But having a literally buttered king crab on a roll, it was unbelievable. It was so good. It was so good. And then coming back down from Skagway, we stayed that inside passage deal, got to see some beautiful landscape, and notice that most of what I'm talking about here is not in the boat. Um, but we come back down through there and got back out to this open place, and there was a lighthouse just out in the middle of this
I
thing, like a
I
really
know where
pretty
I know which one you're
lighthouse.
talking about.
It was You're like,
What
talk
does that
about
do?
being, yeah, like, why is that there?
Yeah.
But that, like, I could totally see why you needed a lighthouse there. Like, land ho, you
Yeah.
go from 1,000 feet of water to, you kind of need to see that there. But something really cool, we were coming down through there and had seen a bunch of whales. Like, that was super cool. We went to the glacier too and got to see got to see the seals, the harbor seals, laying on the little bergy things. Those little guys were laying on their back, just kind of playing around. Um, but as we're coming down through there, back out now, this is more like out in open water. I'm sitting there with my vortex binoculars just kinda scanning around and whatever, and I see something that looks like it doesn't belong. And now granted, it's probably 5, 6 700 yards off the boat. Like, it was a long way off the boat, and there's nothing else around us. So in my head, I'm like, "What is that?" And it literally looked like a little ridge sticking up out of the water. And I was like, "What the heck am I looking at?" And I tried to get people around me to see it too, but without binoculars, like, it was literally like a deep blue thing that was shiny sticking up out of the water, and trying to get people to see it with their eyes, like, that wasn't happening.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there looking at it, and all of a sudden it goes and blows. And, like, it wasn't like the other blows that we had seen. This looked like somebody basically opened a roof pump for pressure washing, or opened a daggone, 8 gallon a minute machine just real quick and closed it. Like, it was a ton of water. And and all of a sudden the thing just kind of started moving, but didn't like go anywhere quick. And then, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes it disappeared. And I'm sitting there thinking, what is that? And I knew it had to be a whale, like, had to be a whale. We had this naturalist lady on the boat, and she happened to be going to one of the fine dining establishments on the boat. We'll get to cruise food in a minute. But I asked her, like, I stopped her and said, "Hey, question for you. I saw this, and what do you think?" And her eyes got real big, and she goes, "That's what you saw?" And I went, "Yeah." And she goes, "Well, you might be one of the lucky few people on the boat to see a blue whale." And I went, "Really?" Like, blue whale, humpback whale, orca whale, like, they're all whales. Like, what's cool about that? And she goes, "I've been cruising for a long time doing this stuff and whatever, and I've never seen a blue whale in person like that." And
Huh.
I went, "What?" And she asked me a couple more questions, and I told her, and she said, "I am pretty positive what you're describing, you saw a blue whale." And she goes, "You need to mark that down in your memory banks." She goes, "'Cause that's a rarity. That's super cool." And then I got to looking up, and I Googled, let me see if I can Google it real quick. Um, I Googled a picture of a blue whale, and what's crazy is that, can you see that?
Yeah.
See how it just looks like a random ridge out in the water?
Yeah. It almost looks like a log.
Yeah, but the one that I saw, it was more, trying to see if there's another, it was sort of more like that, but it was sticking up a lot. Like, it looked like a deep blue, and all these pictures that I was looking up of blue whales, I was like, "Oh, man." And that's what the blow looked like. Can you see that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's way bigger than what I was seeing.
And so I was like, "Oh my god." And I got to looking at it, and I'm like, "I saw a blue whale. I saw a blue whale." So that was super cool. That's, like, logged in my memory bank forever.
That's awesome.
And one more fun fact before we talk about food on the boat for a second. One more fun fact. Did you guys spend a ton of time in Victoria, or was it short?
No, it was like maybe 3 or 4 hours, like, it wasn't long.
So, do you know that there's an old maritime law is why you stop in Victoria, and why you stop in Victoria for such a short period of time?
No idea.
So, there is a maritime law. My father-in-law found this out for us. Um, if you go out of an American port and you spend X amount of time at sea or whatever, and blank number of people on your boat are not American citizens, you have to stop in another country for X amount of time in order for that boat to report in the United States.
Really?
Yep. You think it's a part of your cruise itinerary that's super cool? No, it's a legality.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, it's a convenient spot. It's right there, so
Yeah. Oh, it's really pretty there too. The food we had in Victoria was good. Poutine is my jam. Poutine and a Molson. Yeah, buddy. What did you think about the food on the cruise?
we went to, one there was a barbecue joint there. They had really good food. There was like a a nice steakhouse there. That food was really good, and we went to a French place, and their food was really good, and everything else was mediocre. I will say the breakfast, not the buffet, but where we went and sat down, they would, like, make us fresh eggs, like, not the rehydrated eggs, but actual fresh eggs, cracked. Yeah. Now, that was I looked forward to that a few times we went there, but you had to get there early.
Gotcha.
Um, but yeah, it was I mean, everybody I've always talked to about cruising says, "Oh, the food, the food, the food." I mean, eh,
I I felt the exact same way. Like, we screwed up, we didn't do any of the packages because we were like, you know, to make the package count and whatever, you gotta drink, like, 8 drinks a day or, whatever, and I was like, now don't get me wrong, I like me some bourbon and I do enjoy some beer, but at the same time, I was like, "I'm not gonna drink that much every day." Like, we're not on a Carnival cruise.
yeah,
But, but I was like, let's not do the packaging, whatever. Well, here's the thing, no matter how you look at it and what you do, they're gonna get you. Because there's like $20 a day a person added for like, gratuity for the people and just a bunch of other stuff, and I was like, at the end of it, we'd have come out cheaper if we just done the package. So if you're looking at doing a cruise, people, just do a package
it's
and
a
then
package.
don't worry about it anymore.
You're still gonna
Uh,
get you're gonna get hit with a tax every time you get a drink. There's like a small little tax every time you get a drink, even with a package, but it's still cheaper than
yep.
not buying the package.
And then you get the Wi-Fi. Like, with the package, you get the Wi-Fi, and I am I do enjoy my posting and different stuff like that, so I got the Wi-Fi, and it was like, this yeah, I should've just got the package. Um, but no, the food on our ship, like, it was fine, but, like, I'm not gonna, like, write home about it. And my brother, for instance, was like, "Dude, the cruise food's so amazing," and he's, like, a picky eater. Which is strange for somebody who's, 325 pounds and 6'3". But, he's a picky eater, and he was like, "The cruise food was so amazing. I had everything from shark to swordfish to blah, 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 blah," and I'm like, "I had some stuff like that," and it was just kinda like, "Yeah, like, I can do it better here on my Traeger and Weber."
That's kinda how I thought about it. I mean, yeah, I mean, I could most of that stuff I could have cooked here. They had, the barbecue place had, like, some kind of deviled egg thing that was really good. That was probably the highlight of all the food.
Like a deep fried deviled egg?
No, it was just I don't they had some kinda candied bacon on it, and, maybe there was some chopped up candied jalapenos in the mixture. I can't remember, but it was really, really good. It was just different.
That sounds good, though.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Speaking one of my favorite things that I ate while we were over there, have you ever had a Seattle dog? Dude, dude. So, it sounds weird, okay? I know it sounds weird, but trust me. It is a hot dog with warm cream cheese put in the bun,
Okay.
a little bit of, like, I don't know if it's spicy deli mustard, like, I don't know what it is on there, and then they have sautéed onions and then diced up, deveined, de-seeded jalapeno.
That sounds pretty good.
It was amazing. Like, I engulfed that thing, it was so good.
Yeah,
Highly
that
recommend.
sounds really good. You had me
Highly,
at
highly,
warm
highly.
cream cheese.
That my mother-in-law looked at it and was like, "I think I just want a regular hot dog," and I'm like, "You're making a mistake. This is delicious." It I recommend it. Um, so what kinda closing thoughts on Alaska? Anything that you wish you woulda done that you didn't do?
Based on the time of year, probably not. If we woulda went in June, I would've wanted to do salmon because they say the salmon fishing is really good from, like, mid to late June through August. So, I definitely wanna hit that during that time frame, but for what we did, I think we went at a good time and got to do as much as we could do on the trip that we were on and the ports that we were hitting. I tried to talk the wife into doing a helicopter tour or float plane tour, but she wouldn't do that, so maybe that.
I hear you. I hear you. Um, That the salmon fishing deal, yes, the guy that I went with, he like we exchanged numbers and all that stuff, and he's been texting me. He messaged me yesterday. They caught a god awful amount of king salmon, like
Really?
insane. This one dude was holding one and was having to hold it like that. So it it was a monster king salmon.
That's
But
awesome.
they had a boat full, like, it was super cool. So that I would love to go back to do that. Heck, I would love to fly just, like, into Ketchikan and go spend a week, fishing with that guy. Like,
Yeah.
some of the halibut and stuff they've pulled up, like, a halibut looks like a queen size bed mattress.
Dude, that's there was a bunch of people that went halibut fishing, and now looking back, they probably knew something I didn't know.
Like, it's a test that I didn't study for, and
Yeah,
they
pretty
found a
much.
cheat sheet.
Yeah. Yep. So,
So, other than Alaska cruising and all that good stuff, I would love to go back to Alaska. I don't think I'm gonna go on a cruise again. But you have other experience in Alaska, and I think it is a giant set of antlers that's hanging out behind you, if I'm correct.
yeah, yep, that was the hardest thing I've ever done.
You know, tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so our mutual friend Stan and I went up there. It's been a few years ago now. And I'm usually quiet with where I hunt, but there's no secret with this stuff. So we went up the Dalton Highway. It's a massive highway you can hunt off of. Um, and the rule is that if you're gonna rifle hunt, you've got to be 5 miles off the road before you can even start hunting.
Okay.
Yep. So we fly into Fairbanks, drive up the Hall Road, get to a point where we're seeing a little bit of caribou kind of cruising through with the binoculars. Decide, all right, we're gonna actually before we started doing that, before we went to our one spot, we tried to cross a river at another spot and we just couldn't get across. Thank God we didn't, because after all the rain we got those few days, we would have never got back across coming out of there. But we hike in the 5 miles, set up camp. Um, One thing about Alaska in August is it doesn't get dark, so we get to our spot at like, I don't know, 10 o'clock. It's daylight as can be. Doesn't make any sense. Saw a bunch of caribou. Actually, saw we run into this guy and another bull. We bumped them on the way in. We saw a ton of caribou walking in. Um, and we pitched up camp, set up, um, grabbed some dinner, went to sleep. I woke up at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, just puking my guts out. Like
So hold on before you get there. Hold on before
okay.
you get to the puking. Tell us a little bit about your camp setup for that. Like what
So we use, the tundra's real spongy. So I had to order these stakes that are made for it. So there's these like really, really long, there we go, really long camping stakes.
so a
Uh,
roof nail.
huh?
A roofing nail.
Yeah, dude, freaking huge. Um, and we used the Seek Outside Samurai and we just both slept in it.
Nice. Did you go bottomless or did you put a bottom in it?
No, we had a nest.
Nice.
Yep, we had a nest. With the amount of mosquitoes and the moisture, we knew we were gonna need something to keep us dry. We knew it was gonna be rainy. So, we didn't do a stove because there's nothing to burn where we were.
Gotcha.
Um, so yeah, we just used the Seek Outside Cimarron.
Nice. Now, how what did you do as far as getting it there? Like I'm curious, like you flew, so basically you had to backpack all that stuff. So everything that you had, what did your pack end up weighing before you like
I never weigh my pack if I'm being
so
honest.
you're not a stand guy.
No, I don't I'm not in the like, I'm in the mindset that's why I go to the gym every day because I wanna be able to be comfortable while I'm back there. So, like, I'll pack a little extra, I guess a couple extra pounds for comfort. If I had to guess, my pack was probably with food, 55 pounds. Like, not terrible.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you're rocking food-wise, like Jet Boil and, some Peaks or Mountain House?
Yeah, and I'll make my own stuff here and dehydrate it. Like, I try to eat somewhat clean. So, I'll do that. Peak Refuel makes some pretty good, like, chicken Alfredo meals, and we'll go back to that when we talk about the puking thing in a minute, but,
Okay.
um, yeah, Peak makes some good stuff, Mountain House makes some good stuff, but, I like making my own thing,
Okay.
so I'll do a little bit of both.
All right. Well, proceed with your puking your guts out.
Yeah, so I wake up at, like, 3:30 in the morning puking my guts out. Come to find out, Peaks had a recall on a couple of their meals,
Oh, no.
in batches, and I'm pretty sure what I got was one of those batches because it was causing the food poisoning. So,
Oh, no.
but anyway, so, I get all that out, lay back down, go to sleep. We wake up the next let's see here, trying to think of when Stan burned himself. We wake up the next morning, I don't think it was then. We get out of the tent, like, Stan gets out of the tent right before I do, and just instantly, boom, caribou, like 1,200 yards. And so he's like, "All right, you ready to go?" I was like, "All right, let's go." So we put a stalk on them, and our rule is you find it, you shoot, you get first dibs. So he found there was a big group of bulls, so he found one that he liked. It was the biggest bull in the group. He shot it at, I can't even remember how far it was. It was sub 300.
Dude,
Um,
that's cool.
yeah, and he runs over and falls, and instantly he's like, he racks another one. He's like, "Here, here, here," and the bulls run and they stop, and I find this one right here. And he's like, "All right, 450." So he's like, he's got this little sheet on his gun. He's like, "Dial it to here." We dialed, shot. They all take off. Thought I missed. Racked another one. He stopped. I ended up shooting again. I think I missed. Um, but he just kept going, and he ended up stopping at, like, I don't know, 200 yards and bedded down. I'm like, "All right, that's it." And then I could see him kind of lifting his head up and down. I'm like, "Nah, I got to get one more shot in him."
Yeah.
So I slip into 100 yards. He stands up. I think I shot him free-handed frontal, and that was it. So then we spent, and this is at like, it's like 10:30 in the morning. So then we spend the entire day taking care of our bulls. Um,
What was your temperature like? How quick did you have to take care of them?
it wasn't that bad. I mean, I think it was during the day, it was maybe in the 50s.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
so
it wasn't
you
bad.
you didn't have freezing conditions to have to, like, deal with, and you didn't have, like, 70s to have to worry about your meat going bad, so
Correct. It
that's
was,
cool.
I mean,
Okay.
it was good. It wasn't too hot, it wasn't too cold. The mosquitoes were manageable. I mean, I guess that it'd be terrible here, but out there, it was manageable. They weren't really biting us too bad, which is odd, but, I had a face mask in case I needed it, but yeah, so we get them taken care of. The next morning when we wake up, I'm pretty sure this is the next morning, and Stan, like, burns himself with boiling. Yeah.
How did that happen?
He
I
knocked his
haven't had
he knocked his water over that he was cooking his breakfast with.
so I have a feeling I know that you're a Jetboil guy, like, bigger, lock it in place, do your thing. I have a feeling that Stan's probably like a MSR pocket rocket and tiniest little cup thing, and it
I
just kinda
can't
sits.
I can't remember what he uses, to be honest with you. But any of those that you would use, the canisters are so small, if you don't have one of those little fold-out bases to
Seat
put
thing.
on them, I mean, just you breathe too heavy and that thing's gonna fall over, especially, like, we're on tundra, and if you know anything about tundra, there's these, like, massive tussocks. Just think of, like, a basketball of dirt and grass, and they're everywhere. I mean, they're literally everywhere, and you gotta walk between them. You can't walk on top of them. If you walk on top of them, you're gonna roll because 'cause they'll roll. So, you put anything out there, you just gotta be careful, and that was just, it's one of those things. He didn't, it wasn't something he done. He didn't think about it, and it's just boom, got burnt with boiling water.
Daggum. I've seen
Yeah,
the picture of his foot. He got it good.
yeah, he
Like,
got it good.
for sure, deep second-degree burn.
He got it really good, but he toughed it out. We took one load all the way back to the truck, and when I say, so 5 miles, you think about around here, 5 miles take you, I don't know, you probably average 30-minute miles, so, you know, 2 hours, 2.5 hours to walk 5 miles around here. Out there, it's 3 times that. Yeah, it's just so hard to walk in that stuff, and you got weight on your back too, so you're taking the weight and everything on top of that. Um, so we packed our first load out and then walked all the way back. And then the next day, Stan, he felt like I mean, he just felt awful. He had some kind of stomach bug, his foot was messed up, like, he was just jacked up. So I ended up toting, I wanna say a a hind quarter and a front quarter out, or a hind quarter and some loose meat out solo that day, slept in the truck, come back early the next morning, and then we packed the rest of it out, the next day.
That sounds freaking brutal, dude. It
Dude, it
sounds
was
like it sounds like the hunt, the killing part of it was a breeze.
dude, it was fun, it was quick, it was easy, like, there were caribou everywhere where we were. Um, yeah, that was like, the hunt itself wasn't difficult. The getting in there and then getting everything back out was the hard part. Now with a bow, you can hunt right off the road, so I think if I ever do it again, I'd probably try it with a bow because I mean, there were several instances I could have put stalks like this guy right here, we saw him and his buddy well before they seen us, and I could have easily stalked into 20 yards, 25 yards and shot that with my bow.
Really?
Yeah, just the terrain, it's not flat, it's hilly.
Oh, okay, so you coulda, like, come around and
Yeah, almost like
okay,
a mule deer stalk.
gotcha.
So,
See, that
but
sounds freaking awesome, and I
yeah,
worry I would love and I'm a big bow hunter, and I love to bow hunt. I worry about me being a big dude and trying to put a stalk on like that.
yeah. That I mean, there's a lot of people that say actually the guide that I went, salmon fishing with, he's like, "Dude," he's like, if you just walk towards them and take your bow, flip it up, and just do this right here," he's like, "They'll think it's, they'll think it's another animal, and they're curious animals." I had this happen several times where they walked to me. I've got videos on my phone of caribou bull walking right to me, like, within sub 100 yards from me.
Huh,
They're kinda like antelope.
that's wild. Like, I think about I think about white-tailed deer and turkey and stuff here, and with a turkey, if you do this, he's
Yeah, he's
gone.
gone.
With a deer, if you do that, he's gone. But with that, you go, "Hey,
Yeah.
he's coming to you."
Yep, it's one of the craziest things I've seen. You figure they probably don't see a ton of humans,
Probably
especially a
no.
migrating animal like that way off the road. They'll see humans in, what, August, a little bit of September, and then maybe some in October, but, I mean,
And
that
then
winter's
people
so
are
hard.
gone.
Yeah. So,
So basically, as long as you don't look like a bear of some sort, they don't care.
yeah, pretty much.
How was the meat from that guy?
Um, I would I'd compare it to whitetail a little bit.
Mhm.
I'd say it's
Well,
similar to whitetail. It tastes better than mule deer, or at least ruddy mule deer.
I've heard
Um,
I've heard that mule deer is a really good trophy.
I killed a mule deer in sagebrush, and he was full rut, and I had to give it away. I couldn't I tried cooking it so many different ways. I couldn't make it taste edible to save my life.
You're basically it's like it tastes like a tarsal gland.
It was so bad. You couldn't get past the smell to get to a bite.
Ugh, I'll pass on that.
It was tough. Stan says the mountain ones are really good. I haven't killed a mountain buck yet, but that sagebrush ruddy buck,
Nope.
I won't do that hunt again.
Now, your other animals, so you rifle hunted for the caribou back there behind you. I know that you're a big bow hunter too. Um, you killed what all have you killed with your bow? I'm curious now.
Pile of whitetails, pigs, and an elk.
Nice. How, I've always been curious, like in the elk game, how do how do you get close enough to an elk to be able to shoot it with the bow? Like, you see it on TV and stuff all the time, and it kind of sometimes looks like dumb luck. Looks like you throw some calls, some different stuff like that, and you just kind of cut. I don't want to say dumb luck, but you cut the bull off as it's either coming up the hill to you or whatever. How does
Yeah,
one make that happen?
there's strategy to it. Depends on how you do it. the way I like to do it is the calling game. So September bugling bulls, and I just you figure out where they're at, and then you play the thermals and the wind, and just get into a place. Elk are similar to turkey in a sense that when you call, they almost know exactly, like they can almost look at the pinpoint and see exactly where you're at.
Okay.
So you think, all right, there's a bull 100 yards away. I'm going to bugle right here. Then I'm going to move up 30 yards in a spot where the wind's blowing up. He's going to come this way. And you kind of set yourself up to where when he comes, you stop him and boom.
So basically, you're offset calling him,
Yeah.
just like okay, okay.
Yeah. And if you've got two people that know how to call, it makes it that much easier. But the one I killed with my bow, that's kind of the way it played out. And the one I killed with my bow, I'd actually bumped him. He run off and then come back. And I was actually working another bull when he come back in silent and I shot him at 20 yards. He took off running and then the bull over here come in to 40 at broadside, using that same little tactic. And then same thing with, I've got it a couple of guys, put it right on top of them, whether they killed it or not, it's a different story, but, Stan, one of them, called for him, called one right in his lap. And he killed it with a muzzleloader. My buddy Kyle whiffed on one, um, that I put in his lap at 30 yards broadside. I mean, a big old joker. Um, and then I whiffed on one, but this bull was smart. He come in, and he would not come any closer than 40 yards. And it was like right at dark. I hit a limb that I didn't see right there.
Oh,
Held my arrow way off in the distance. Never found that arrow. He was probably a 330, 340 bull. He was a big joker.
that's a donkey, dude.
Yeah, he was huge. I can remember the distinction was he was so wide, like just come way out. Um, but yeah, that's the trick shit is cat and mouse and just playing and putting yourself in the right position.
So I'm going to assume with that kind of hunting, just like turkey hunting, ton of walking. You're trying to stay out of their line of sight, and the difference between that and turkey hunting is they can see and smell
Yeah.
versus a turkey can just see.
And you can get away with the sight stuff a little bit. They can see. I wouldn't say their eyesight's like, like a whitetail or an antelope. They can
Mhm.
see, but it's really the nose game more than anything.
I got you, dude. That sounds cool. I need to draw a tag and then take Mr. Clark here along as my guide.
So much fun, man. It's to me, that's the best hunting is just whether it's archery, muzzleloader, somebody draws an early rifle, like just bugling bulls. I love that. I love that back and forth game.
That's super cool. Well, it sound like I love turkey hunting. Like if you can see the wall over there,
Oh yeah, I do too.
um,
You can see them right here. Right here, over here. There we go.
there we go. Um, but like that just seems like a different game right there. Like you go from hearing "caw" and getting so excited to I've heard people talking about bulls bugling and you like feel it in your soul.
When they're close, you can. Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. The one my buddy whiffed on, like he was bugling in our face. Um, it was it was unreal.
Really?
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
you
It
can
was
basically
neat,
smell his breath.
dude. It was neat. It was so cool. Like he was just so close, and it
what's
was
your
so
go
loud.
what's your go-to archery setup for elk? I'm
Uh,
sure it's the same for whitetail and stuff too,
yeah,
but
I just use the same setup for everything. I've got a Matthews Halon 32, so
nice.
nothing fancy, nothing new. That bow's killed so many critters. Um, what do I got? I got the Black Eagle. It's the skinny arrow. I cannot remember.
Rampage?
I think so.
I'm a
Um,
rampage guy too.
yep. And I use the Ethics Archery. Um, it's the I think it's the aluminum. It's the aluminum insert with the titanium or stainless outserts, and, I'm a Rage Broadhead guy, like, I've shot so many animals with Rage Broadhead. Actually, the elk I shot was one of those Chinese knockoff Rages, um, but I've just
Putting a
killed.
lot of faith in the knockoff. I like it.
Yeah, so, Yeah, the rate like, I've found that I'd rather have a big blood trail. If I shoot them a little further back, I'd rather have a really good blood trail. So, um, and I've made some of those like single lung liver shots, and they run off, but the blood trails, I mean, it's like dumping on the ground. So I've shot a few deer with fixed blades. Um, I mean, they work, but there's no blood trail. Or to
I
me,
got
the
you.
ones I've used, I've had is very little blood trail compared to a expandable.
See, I've flipped over, and this is whitetail, but I flipped over and started using Magnus broadheads, the fixed heads.
I've killed one deer with a Magnus stinger.
Nice. I'm using the Black Hornet Razor. Actually killed my Pope and Young buck with um, with the Razor, and now granted that story you guys have heard me tell that story on the podcast, but that was a different situation. But the blood was dumping out of the guy, so that was cool. But I'm always between. I don't know. I worry about using a mechanical, but at the same time, I shouldn't. And there's something about the fixed head, the reusability of it that I like.
Mhm. Yeah, that's one thing I don't like is I just got a I usually keep the broadheads, and I've just got a pile of them sitting out there that I'll never use again. But I've gotten to a point where I just aim a little further off the shoulder, um, and knock on wood, typically, I don't, have an issue with that. Usually, if I do hit a little further back, they still don't run very far. Um,
Right
but
on.
even if they do, they bleed the whole way.
What's your draw and what poundage are you drawing?
2970.
2970?
Yep.
Right on. And I could probably get away with as long as the ferrule on an expandable was super strong. Like I'm shooting I have a 31.5 inch draw and I'm shooting 75 pounds.
Yeah.
So like I'm basically shooting a 30-06.
Yeah. Yep. You need one of those crossbow rages.
Yeah, for real. I've looked at so many different ones, like, I've got so many buddies because I do stuff, with the bow shop, I do the social media and all that, and
Yeah.
so many buddies are like, "You need to use a Mega Meat, you need to use a whatever." I don't
Those
care as
Mega
much
Meats
of.
are nasty.
Yeah. Wo one of my buddies who comes on the podcast a lot, Ryan Todd, he shot a doe a couple years ago for meat with a Mega Meat and basically cut the doe in half.
Yeah. Uh, my buddy, TJ shot I guess he's probably like a 135 buck in Missouri last year, and he shot with that Mega Meat, and it was nasty. It was nasty.
So you think that I should think real hard about giving up the fixed head and move over and try at least a mechanical,
I say shoot what you want, man, but just keep that mechanical in your quiver just in case.
just in case.
Yeah, the Mega
Can't you
Meats are getting
zip?
a lot of rave for good reason. Like, what they're doing with those broadheads is ridiculous. Like, the carnage that them things leave and the blood trails, it's
Insane.
insane, dude.
I need to try it. I need to just suck it up and try
Shoot a doe with one, and you'll probably get hooked.
it. I hear you. I hear you. Bleed out quick and be done.
Yeah.
Now, on a different note, you have helped my thought process a lot as far as on Western hunting stuff.
Mhm.
And that's something that's something for me to do anything different than what I've been doing my entire life. West is where I gotta go. So I am pleased to say that this year, actually yesterday, I bought my bonus point or preference points for the state of Wyoming, and I'm planning to enter the draw next year for an antelope tag. Um, I've talked on here with Stan a few times about draw processes and different stuff like that. And I'll tell you what, I think you said while we were talking, off podcast, you about have to have a PhD to be able to understand a PhD in specific states to understand what's going on in these states.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a lot, and no state's similar to the other.
it doesn't make any sense. Like yesterday, pretty straightforward to be able for me to get the bonus point or preference points. There's a difference. There's a difference, people. You got to understand. To get the preference points for Wyoming, like that was pretty straightforward, pretty simple. I feel like I decently understand Wyoming. Um, the draw odds I have trouble like looking at and being like, yeah, I think I could definitely draw that next year. Versus like, I don't know, I could put in and pretend.
Yeah.
But Wyoming also, I've learned and learned from you, does this thing to where there is the regular draw that 75% of 75% of it is based on bonus point or based on preference
I
point.
think it's 85. I think it's the
80
85-15 rule.
85. So 85 is based off of the preference point, and then 15 is just random luck. See, that's cool. So you always kind of have a chance.
I mean, Stan drew 2 tags this year on the 15% rule in Wyoming.
Lucky Joker.
Yeah. He went to Wyoming. Actually, he was in Wyoming elk hunting when Helene hit. So was that almost 2 years ago now? And he's going back elk hunting again this year. He drew another general tag. I've got more points than he did, and I didn't draw, so I know he pulled that out of the 15. And then he went antelope hunting last year, and I wanna say that he said typically that tag that he gets takes a pretty good amount of points to get, and he was able to draw it this year for the
That's
antelope tag
cool.
too. So, yeah, he's got a really good fall lined up for that stuff.
That's crazy. He's a lucky Joker.
Mhm.
He's like my mother-in-law with slot machines. He's that way with Western draw.
He draws some good tags, man, on some especially some of just the random draws like New Mexico and stuff like that, like, he draws some good tags, but, I mean,
That's
he
cool.
puts in for a lot of them, so you're bound to hit.
Bound to hit somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Well, I put in for I put in for antelope, I put in for muleys, and I put in for elk in Wyoming. So I went ahead and bought all three of the points. Next year, I'm really wanting to go antelope hunting. Like that just looks like so much fun, and it looks like one of those that it would be a really good way for me to get my feet wet, like in doing a western hunt. But I'll tell you this, Wyoming is kind of intimidating when you look at it on Onyx because you can see big clusters of BLM land, which is basically like our WMAs here. And then you'll see like state forest and stuff that you or state land or whatever you can hunt on as well. But like some of it, there's no road to get to it. Like you have to go through Farmer John's property to be able to get to like somewhere. And then those people want money to do that.
But, yeah, there's a lot of checkerboard out there too.
It's just weird. Like, I don't understand why gift the state land or allow land for people to hunt if you can't get to it? Like, that's dumb.
Yeah, it's tough, but
Ha have you ever played the game like that in Wyoming?
with
Anything?
you mean, like, paying to hunt?
Well, no, like the public game and trying not to get arrested for trespassing.
Um, so the antelope hunt I did in Wyoming, we were hunting little blocks, like, it's the unit we were in isn't loaded with, like, giant pieces.
Uh-huh.
There were just lots of moderate small which around here, they would be massive pieces, but out there, 1,000,
So
2,000 acre pieces.
So really, really quick before you keep going with that, on Onyx it's deceiving because you'll
Yeah,
see a square that might look that big and you're like, oh man, that's not much. Like the Kiwi WMAs or whatever around here are way bigger than that. You click it and it's like, oh, this is 7,000 acres. And
yep,
you're like, what?
yeah, yep, so, like, around here, they'd be big, but a lot of it out there is just wide open land, like, it's just there's no trees,
Hmm.
um, so we were just bouncing, like we spent, like, 3 days out there doing it, and I think that's kinda what we were doing, and then we would just truck camp on whichever one we ended the day on, but
Hmm.
we were just kinda bouncing around these pieces, and, like, we bounced all the way over here, check 5 pieces in between here and here, nothing, or, maybe they were on private, so then we would just hit them coming back, and we would just kinda go back and forth, and we knew the pieces that had a lot of antelope around them. So when we got to the one I shot mine on, it was kinda spot and stalk, and then same over there. It was fun. It was a lot of honestly, you spent a lot of time in the car.
Gotcha. Now, you archery hunted yours, right?
No, no,
No? Okay.
rifle hunted.
Rifle? I wasn't
Yeah,
sure.
I don't know if I don't know if I'd archery hunt antelope just because if you do it when you typically do it, I mean, it's hotter than Satan out there. Like, it's just so hot in August and September. When I went, it was nice, it was cool, it was super windy. I'd rather hunt in the cold,
See, I
and
would too.
I'm gonna get my fix of the swamp nuts down here where we live. I don't wanna do it anywhere else.
Dude, this week here is awful. This is
So
terrible.
bad,
You
so
step
bad.
outside, you better have a change of clothes. Like, it's terrible.
Yep.
Um, we'll start wrapping up here in just a second, but with with the western with the western hunting and the draws and stuff like that, do you have any advice that you're willing to share with the people listening? I feel like everybody around here is either already doing it and understands what to do, or they're kind of like me, a little bit intimidated to start and kind of like, it just seems like I don't know what I'm doing, that kind
Yeah.
of deal.
I always tell people, I hear people all the time. I think we've had this conversation a few times where it's like, yeah, that's a bucket list item. My biggest advice is just go do it. I mean, it seems it seems daunting, but when you break it down, especially with the amount of like information on YouTube and the podcasts. I know Randy Newberg, Go Hunt. A lot of these guys, Corey Jacobson with Elk 101, a lot of these guys have so much information out there. Like that's how I learned. I watched Randy Newberg and the Born and Raised guys and Corey Jacobson. I taught myself how to use a call. Um, I, I, I say I taught myself. I watched what they did and just tried to mimic it when I went out there. And it worked. It's just a matter of getting out there. Tags are fairly expensive in comparison, but then when you think about going on a guided hunt, like I'd rather go 20 times on public land, 20 years on public land and just go every year versus
Then
buying
one
points
time.
for 20 years and going once because when you go I tell people all the time, like, I didn't go until I was 28, and I kicked myself so hard for not going. I kept telling myself, "I wanna go, I wanna go, I wanna go." I never did, and I waited till I was almost 30 to go, and now I'm like, "Man, I missed out on, 5, 6, 7 years of being able to do this." So, my and it's so pretty out there, and the amount of land and the opportunities that you have out west is stupid.
Well, like, I saw a thing I'm watching this thing with Randy Newberg and him talking about, like, kind of the 250th anniversary of the United States and how we come into public land and different stuff like that, and he was talking about the overall population of states like Wyoming and talking about the population density, and he said, "Here's something for you to think about." He goes, there's more people in like Manhattan or Long Island in New York than there is in the entire state, tenfold of Wyoming. And he goes, if the population of Wyoming was what was in like population density, like people per square mile, he was like, there would be 16 people in the in Long Island, New York. And I was like, golly.
Yeah. Yeah, and it once you get out of the big cities, it's a lot of just nothing, even like Colorado is the same way. Once you get out of those 3 or 4 large areas, Denver, Vail, places like that, there's a bunch of small little cities, but a lot of it's just rural land and, big ranches and stuff, and, like, it's so much different than it is here.
That's super freaking cool. That's super cool. I'm pumped to enter the game. I'm definitely gonna get me I'm working on it. I've talked with you a couple times about different tent stuff and whatever to have and be able to kind of rock and roll with it. But I'm fingers crossed on the antelope deal. Like I'm super pumped and hoping that I can make it work out.
You gotta put in for the elk tag too, even if you know you're not gonna beat it from preference points. Hey, if you draw, you just drew one of the best general tags in the entire country.
That's true.
You got a 15% chance.
I didn't think about that. That's true. And now that I have one preference point going into it,
Yeah,
it's kind
and
of a
you can rifle hunt elk in September in Wyoming in
would you
certain
go
years.
with would you go with me for that one?
Yeah.
You're
Dude, I
like,
like calling just as much as I like shooting. It's so much fun.
That's okay. I'll hold you to it. I'll put in for it. We'll keep our fingers
Yeah,
crossed, man.
there you go, man.
Well, Wayne, thank you so much for coming on here with me. It's been a blast. And I mean, when else do you get to talk about Alaska cruising and then into
No,
Western hunting and some fun hunting stories?
yeah, it's been good chat.
Heck yeah, brother. Well, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. If there's ever anything you want to hear us talk about on the lodge, send me a direct message on Instagram or shoot me an email, aaron@whiteedoutdoors.com. Until next time, tight lines and double lungs. Have a good one.